Phew, it's cold outside. It's a stupid intro. What am I doing? Well, ladies and gentlemen, it looks like the government shutdown is finally going to be ended as 8 Democrats joined with Republicans last night in the United States Senate to vote to end the government shutdown and to break the filibuster in the Senate. That bill now was amended. They had to change the date on it, a couple small details, nothing big. Republicans gave up pretty much nothing, and Democrats didn't get what they asked for. That bill will now go back to the House and is expected to be voted on by about Wednesday or Thursday. And finally, we should have an end to this government shutdown. So, what exactly happened? Well, last night, the CR was presented onto the floor. We knew some Democrats weren't going to vote against it. Chuck Schumer didn't vote for it. Ruben Gallego, the senator from Arizona, also did not vote for it. So some of them didn't vote for it, but 8 of them did, and we needed those votes to break the filibuster in the Senate to go ahead and start the process to reopen the government. So that clean CR passed last night. Thune, I believe, did promise that we would rehire the government officials who were fired during the government shutdown and give them their back pay, which isn't much to really give up on our end. And he promised them a vote on Obamacare subsidies. So they got no guarantee for Obamacare. And Hakeem Jeffries has lost his mind over the fact that they didn't get any guarantees regarding Obamacare subsidies. They weren't going to. The Republicans were not going to. The Republicans just weren't going to back off on this issue. Who were the senators who voted with Republicans last night? Well, I have the names here. One is Senator Angus King of Maine. Now, Senator King is independent, but he does caucus with the Democrats. He broke ranks last night to vote for the Clean CR bill. The New York Times article, which covers it, says that many people are being hurt by the shutdown, and that Payne had pushed his colleagues to support a deal that would reopen the government without extending Affordable Care Act subsidies. It's Obamacare subsidies there for people who don't know. It is called the Affordable Care Act. Senator Tim Kaine of Virginia also broke ranks. He said that he was backing the deal after securing a provision in the temporary spending bill to reverse layoffs made during the shutdown. A lot of them came over after that was guaranteed that we would take people back who were laid off during the shutdown. Senator Dick Durbin of Illinois. He is the number 2 Senate Democrat. I believe he's their whip, and he's retiring at the end of his term. Mr. Durbin underlined that the legislation advanced on Sunday night was different from the one voted down by Democrats 14 times over the course of the shutdown because it included the provision to reverse the layoffs. So that seems to be a reoccurring theme here. Senator John Fetterman of Pennsylvania, for the 15th time, Mr. Fetterman voted again with Republicans to end the government shutdown. He had been calling for the end of the shutdown for a very long time because he's a senator from blue-collar state of Pennsylvania. He knows how badly this is going for the American people, the government being shut down, how much this is affecting specifically his constituents. And so he's been a real voice of reason, probably the only voice of reason I can think of for Democrats in the Senate. It's too bad that he'll never be in leadership of the Democratic Party because of the way the Democratic Party is going now. I think he should become a Republican at this point. He won't, I don't think, but he is a very smart gentleman, and has been calling for the end of the government shutdown for a while now. Senator Maggie Hassan of New Hampshire. She said that now is the time for Republicans to engage in serious bipartisan negotiations to extend the expiring health insurance subsidies. So here, another issue with the health insurance subsidies. The Republicans are not going to give that up. We've been wanting to repeal and replace Obamacare for a while. We need to repeal and replace Obamacare as it is just driving prices higher. It's doing the opposite of what it was intended to. And the subsidies continue to drive up healthcare costs for average Americans. Senator Jean Shaheen of New Hampshire also voted for it. She's also retiring, and she said that the legislation is the best path toward reopening the government and extending healthcare tax credits. Again, I don't think that that's going to be happening, but they certainly think that they might get a shot at it. And two more. Senator Catherine Cortez Masto of Nevada almost lost her seat in 2022. She also cited the expiring healthcare insurance subsidies. And then Senator Jackie Rosen of Nevada said that Republicans are weaponizing their power in alarming ways, which is interesting. Very interesting, because that's exactly what the Democrats have been doing for 12 out of the last 16 years. And suddenly, when Republicans finally, recognize, oh my gosh, we're not in the minority anymore, we can actually exercise power. Suddenly, once Republicans start doing it, it's bad. Remember, it's only bad when the right does it. It's never bad when the left does it. When the left does it, when the left throws their political opponents in jail, when the left incites violence and riots during the summer of love in 2020, it's good. But when Republicans do it, which we don't incite violence, you see all the vigils that took place after the death of Charlie Kirk, there weren't any riots. But when Republicans supposedly incite violence, like Donald Trump on January 6th, which was a federal operation, there were feds in the crowd. It obviously, it's pretty obvious to anyone who has eyes. When Donald Trump supposedly does it, it's terrible. But when Democrats do it, it's good. I remember back in 2020, we had to read his speech in my 8th grade English class, his January 6th speech, and then talk about where he incited violence. And I was the lone student who stood up and said, I don't see anywhere in here where he's inciting violence against members of Congress, to which I was promptly shut down by my lesbian English teacher in 8th grade. Yes, I had one of those in 8th grade. So anyway, but she was a kind woman, but she was also very, very far to the left. So anyway, the government appears it's going to be reopened. The Democrats are probably going to protest a little bit in the House and make a big spectacle. Hakeem Jeffries obviously wants as much power as humanly possible, so he'll make a big spectacle out of it. He'll make a big show and try to pretend to be the people's defender, even though the number 2 Democrat in the House, I forget her name. Her name escapes me at the moment, but she let the cat out of the bag that they were using the American people as leverage in order to get what they want. Well, Madam Congresswoman, I am not your leverage. The American people are your constituents. The American people are your bosses. We decide whether you get a job in 2026, whether you get to keep your job, or we could fire you. Probably should fire you after you talk about it. Imagine talking to your employer like that. Imagine going to your boss and say, hey, you know what? I'm using you as my leverage in a in-house dispute. It's probably not going to go so well. That's exactly what she's doing here. She's going on live TV and going to the American people and saying, you are my leverage. No, ma'am, we are your bosses. And in 2026, she should be fired from her position and voted out of office, although I think she's from a liberal state, and so she probably won't be. So anyway, so she wanted to use the Americans as leverage. It obviously didn't work. The Democrats are not going to get what they want. They don't have the votes in the House of Representatives, so the government's going to reopen, and Donald Trump has promised to focus on the affordability crisis, which, if you saw our video on the day after Election Day, you'll know that's why the 2025 elections, even though off year, turnout wasn't good, that's why they went so badly, is because the affordability crisis is still a thing. The economy needs to be brought back down, or not brought back down, but brought back up to Trump 1.0 levels. The economy needs to start doing better. It's okay right now, but it seems to be, it's stable, but it's like teetering on the edge. And so people have a lot of unease about the economy, about the markets. And so the passing of the big, beautiful bill, codifying the Trump tax cuts into law, was a good start. But what you need to do is you need to fix the housing cost. You need to fix grocery prices, gas prices. He's going to open the Alaska pipeline that's going to help gas prices go down. But a lot more needs to be done on that end if we expect to win in 2026, which we must win in 2026. We must probably going to hold the Senate, but we must hold the House. We cannot allow the Democrats to take back control, or the Trump agenda will be stopped completely in its tracks. So he needs to get on the roll with fixing the affordability crisis. Now, we have a special little extra last minute part of this episode of Lafone After Hours. And that is, I was called out on X, ladies and gentlemen. I've been called out for my racism, xenophobia, all of the, Islamophobia, all the things against Muslims, which I'm supposedly racist against. Even though I'm not racist against Muslims, I said, my stance on Muslims has always been that I wish to see every Muslim man, woman, and child who is not assimilating to American life. I wish to see them deported. I wish to make sure that no Muslim can hold office. Why? Whether they're Arab, black, white, I don't care if you're blue, red, white, orange. I don't care what you look like. If you're Muslim, I don't want you in this country. Why is that? We've discussed it before. Because the Quran explicitly tells them to subjugate the non-believers, to fight them and to kill them until they pay the tax or convert to Islam, or they don't pay the tax and you kill them. That's why we can't allow this dangerous religion into our country. The religion itself inherently is radical. It's evil. It's wicked. It's deranged. The Sharia law allows men to beat their wives. It allows honor killings. You can kill anyone for almost any reason and claim that it was an honor killing. Sharia law is terrible. We cannot allow it in our country, to be legal in our country. We cannot allow these people to run for office. We have a man running for Senate in Michigan. His last name is Said. Senator Said? No, not in the United States of America. And of course, Zohran Mamdani in New York, Omar Fatah in Minneapolis. But here we go. I have been debunked on my racism here. It's a simple little thing here. I say I just watched a video of a witness making a statement in court. That witness was a young Muslim girl whose father was being locked up for an attempted murder. He claimed it was simply an honor killing. This is why we cannot allow this dangerous religion in the United States. Like I said, Sharia law allows you to kill kind of whoever for any reason and claim it's honor killing. Oh, it's just honor killing. Has to be done. It's an honor killing. And the Christian mothers who abuse their possessed children on the grounds of religion, does that mean that Christianity is a dangerous religion? No, because you know Christianity. We cannot judge a religion by the radicals. Yeah, see, here's the problem with that. The problem is I know Islam, too. I've read the Quran. I've read the Hadiths. I've read into Sharia law. Islam, by its very nature, is radical. These people are not radicals in Islam. This is just every day in Saudi Arabia, Iran. Saudi Arabia kind of does it under the table because they're trying to be more palatable to Western nations, to Western businesses. But this is just every day in Islam. The problem is I do know Islam, and I know Christianity, and Christianity doesn't allow that. Islam does. Islam promotes it. His reasoning for wanting to kill his daughter was because she had an American boyfriend, and he was westernizing her. And so he tried to kill her. This is every day in Islam. This is not radical or fringe in Islam. This is just mainstream basic Islamic Muslim teaching. Islam is incompatible with Western civilization. And people like this do not understand that. They think, they still think with the boomer conception of just, and I know my grandparents are boomers. They're wonderful people, but the boomer generation in general, this boomer conception of that we can just all coexist with everybody. Now live in peace and harmony and kumbaya. No, Islam, you cannot live in you cannot live in a nation with Islam Why? Because why they're running for office? They want to subjugate us. They want to take over control. They always vote en masse for the Democratic Party. Why? Because the Democratic Party has no convictions. It's the perfect vehicle. It's the perfect vehicle for creating a secular society, which is easier to take over. It's a perfect vehicle to use. One that says, "Oh, any resistance against any people group that's marginalized or that's not white is racism." No, you must resist against Islam, or they're going to take over. That's what they do everywhere. That's what they've always done. And those who are moderate Muslims, more palatable Muslims to Western civilization, are either ignorant, they're not following their teachings. They're either ignorant or they're lying to you, which, by the way, their teachings, it's their teachings. Their scriptures tell them that they can lie to people to do Allah's will, to get their way. They can lie and say whatever. They're allowed to lie to you. They're allowed to deceive you. That's why they cannot be trusted. You speak to a Muslim, and I don't know if I'm getting the truth or not. I don't know if I'm being told what they actually believe or not. The moderate Muslims, I don't know if they're ignorant or if they're purposefully being deceitful. It's part of a greater plan. I don't know. Because they're told to lie. That's the problem. They're either openly radical or secretly radical. But nowadays, they're just telling you what they're going to do. Their moms are just telling you that they want to take over the United States and create an Islamic caliphate. They're just doing it out in the open. They cannot be trusted because they're told to lie. They're told they can deceive. Surah 3. And they deceived and the law deceived. And the law is the greatest of deceivers. Who's that sound like? Does that sound like our God? No. It's the devil. The greatest of all deceivers. That's why we can't allow these people in our country. They cannot be trusted. They just can't. They can't be allowed to hold office. They can't be allowed to live in our country because their values are incompatible with Western civilization. It is, in fact, Islam is inherently a radical religion. It is not the religion of peace. Islam does not mean peace. I saw a girl online, Muslim girl, trying to tell people that Islam meant peace. It does not mean peace. Islam means submission to Allah. And submission to Allah includes submission to Muhammad, and who's the prophet of Allah in Islam. The prophet of Allah who murdered tens of thousands of people, hundreds of thousands of people, and married a 6-year-old child and raped her when she was 9. That is the greatest man of all time, folks. That's why they have child marriage in Islam. The reason that they don't have adoption in Islam is because Muhammad had an adopted son named Zayd. This is in the Hadith. You can find this. This is just there. This is just basic facts. Muhammad had an adopted son named Zayd, and he saw his wife bathing, Zayd's wife bathing, and he started lusting after his wife. He had his son killed, David style, by sending him to battle, had him killed, abolished adoption in Islam to justify the marriage to his adopted son's ex-wife. So he kills his son. He has his son killed in battle and then takes his wife and abolishes adoption in Islam to justify it. Even the great God Allah has trouble justifying this marriage until he comes up cleverly with the abolishment of adoption so that Muhammad can marry his formerly adopted son's wife. So yes, adoption is abolished in Islam because Muhammad wanted to marry his adopted son's wife because he saw her naked. This is a demonic and pathetic religion. And it's a dangerous religion. And I'm not inciting violence against these people. Do not be violent to these people. We just should simply deport them back to Muslim countries. The reason they come here and they don't want to live under Muslim countries is because Islam is a sucky religion to be governed under because Islam just breeds tyranny. So anyway, ladies and gentlemen, that's this week of Lafone After Hours. Remember, first episode of the Isaiah Lafone Show, November 29th at 11 a.m. and Eastern Time. And from that point onward, new episodes of the Isaiah Lafone Show will drop every Saturday at 11 a.m. Eastern Time. I look forward to it. I can't wait to see y'all there. Isaiah Lafone Show premiere episode, November 29th, 11 a.m. Eastern Time. Be there or be square. Thank you for watching, ladies and gentlemen. Make sure to like and subscribe. Share this video if you found it helpful. I appreciate it. God bless. And may the peace of Christ go with you.